Hello and welcome to A.D.A Online. That's short for Ardentum's Digital Asylum. The idea is that we're all stuck in the asylum together, so we might as well try to enjoy it. This is actually the second time that I've tried to record this. I made about an hour in with the last attempt, but unfortunately, I'm using a different computer than usual right now, and my S's weren't being picked up properly. So at the moment, this is planned to just be a podcast that goes over things I found interesting throughout the previous month. I don't really like doing live streams because I find that if you're not there and the person's talking to the chat too much, it just doesn't feel right listening to it afterwards, but you never know, I might do it. So this is going to be broken up into segments, highlighting what I thought were the best parts of January. Why are we doing it so close to mid-February, you might be asking? Well, when I start doing a project, I wildly underestimate how much work is going to go into it. But with that being said, we're going to be starting with the lolcow segment. More specifically, with Nick Rekieta. Nick Rekieta, or as he's also commonly known as, Rackets, or Baldo, is someone that I've wanted to talk about for a little while now. I originally planned on talking about him for my Halloween special back in 2024, but unfortunately I wasn't going to be able to get that one out on time, and neither was the video that I tried to do instead. Nick Rekieta has been in a nice few of my videos before, mainly Ralph videos. Actually, I think it might only be Ralph videos that he's in. All of which were made before he had his monumental fall from grace. For anyone somehow out of the know, back in May of 2024, Nick Rekieta, aka the guy who started the entire LawTube genre, got arrested by the police for drug possession and a firearm misdemeanor. Once Nick was arrested, his mugshot, his wife Kayla's mugshot, and the mugshot of Aaron Imholt, the woman they were swinging with, was released online. Now, I just want to say that not one of them looks good in this. Kayla, in particular, on the left. Nick, you can tell that's the look of a man who knows he just got caught. Now, prior to this arrest, Nick had been drinking around a bottle of whiskey a day, or close to it, mainly while he was on stream. Now, for example, I actually got some highlights of this. In one of his...
one major topic.
Whoops. So... in one of his deleted streams, just a couple of days before he got arrested, you can see how he starts out. I'm not going to say he's, like, good to drive, but he doesn't seem that bad.
The results of my appeal, the results are phenomenal, obviously. Top men on the appeal. And poor Randazza, I'm like, on him here, and I'm not even meaning to because it's the way this works out. We'll show you.
Okay, you know what? I probably wouldn't be... I don't think I'd actually be able to sit down and have a conversation with him like this, but he gets a whole lot worse.
We'll show you. I'll show you. We're going to go through the document. We're going to go through the appeal decision. Obviously, did not win it. Cheers. Oh my God. I can already see it. It's amazing.
Okay, so that wasn't too bad. Like I said, I wouldn't trust him to drive me somewhere. I wouldn't want to be hanging out with him when he's like that. But he wasn't, like, dead. Well, by the end of that stream, he was completely out of it. I mean, blitzed.
Look.
It was worse, too. So in this one, I'm pretty sure that Mr. Medicare... he was gone for, like, 40 minutes in the bathroom. Mr. Medicare gave a little super chat about it. He comes back, and he's, like, losing his mind. Now, he had a special interaction with what's known as the Corner Demon, a.k.a. Aaron Imholt, on this stream. I don't think I can go very much more into detail about it.
People want you to be responsible on the internet. They want you to get out of live streams. They want you to do whatever. But they love when you're honest. They love when you're you. They want that fucking you. They want the contract. They want whatever you want to say. I'm just laboring anally. You know, no, you're not. And no, dad doesn't clap those cheeks that way.
I have no idea what he's going on about.
You are angrily for her because you are a beta. I'm streaming. Cool. Fine. That's great. Go find the thing you need to make your...
I want you to imagine that you're in middle school or you're in high school and your dad's a streamer. How would you not get bullied for your dad going online and acting like this?
Stream's better, guys. Don't look to me for advice. I'm terrible at it. And all I want to do, talk about the Avengers, how much they suck. With that, catch you guys tomorrow. Have a good night. Thanks for hanging out with me. Peace. Peace.
Peace.
Why? Why isn't it there? Why can I not end the fucking stream?
Now, I've only done 2 streams in my life, but I mean, it's pretty easy to stop streaming. All you have to do is hit stop streaming on OBS.
What is wrong with everything? Oh my God. Where's my thing?
Well, only 3 days after that stream, Nick was arrested. Now, Nick wasn't feeding his children or having their clothes. He wasn't feeding his kids or washing their clothes. Neither was his wife. Neither was April. And eventually, this got reported to the police by his pastor. So, Nick's kids, they would show up to church and school, like, of course, in dirty clothes. And they would also ask for food because they weren't getting any at home. Now, the Nick Rekieta, he has a lot of money. Or at least had. Of course, when you start doing drugs every day, that money starts to go down. Now, I think everyone knows what happened next. Nicholas Rekieta's 9-year-old daughter got tested. His 9-year-old daughter tested positive for cocaine use, and the goodwill that people had for him at this point started to go away. Now, when Nick was arrested for these charges, people didn't immediately turn on him. At first, they wanted to see him get better, get off the drugs, and cut out or severely, slow down his drinking. And go back to the person that he used to be back during the Kick Vic era? That was when he got big, I should say. But as time went on, more things came out that he was doing, and that goodwill started to fade away. I would say it was completely gone on June 19th. So that's the day when he made his return, about a month after we last saw him. And one of the things that happened with this stream that really killed, any goodwill for him was that I want to say around half an hour before he was set to go live, paperwork showing that his daughter tested positive for drugs came out. Everyone started talking about it. His chat, his live chat, was filled with people asking about it. And so I'm going to say when he did this stream, he made it about 100 or 1,000 times worse. We're going to see just how he handled this. It's probably one of the worst. This is probably one of the worst things I've ever heard online. He could have said, listen, guys, I don't know. I can't tell you anything about this because it's an ongoing case. And I think people would have been fine with that. People would have been fine with that. But no.
This is not going to be a long stream. It was going to be a much longer stream. But first, the release of information that's supposed to be protected at a very specific time, right after I announce a show and right before the show starts, is something that is concerning. And of course, I will have a lawyer looking into that. Let me just help you with my public image right now.
Okay, this is the worst. This is the dumbest thing he could have done. I don't think I've ever seen somebody kill any goodwill going towards them this fast.
Fuck you. Right in your goddamn mouth. I'm not here to worry about what you think about me. And that should be obvious to damn near anybody. And if you think it's in my character to come out and grovel before you and say, oh, I'm so sorry I let you down.
I didn't pick
you up. I didn't let you down. I didn't pick you up. I didn't make you, and I didn't make promises to you. So if you feel let down.
Now, if you are ever in a situation like this, do not do a stream like he's doing right now. Just stay quiet. So, now, this is going to go a little off topic. So, Sony recently had a PlayStation Network outage. Now, a lot of people were comparing it to the one in 2011, where PSN was down for I want to say 30 days. Sony did not acknowledge that whatsoever until I want to say after the 30 days where it was fixed. If you're ever in YouTube trouble, that is how you do it. You don't say anything until it's over, and then you can give your side.
Down by me? Let yourself down from the stool, Robin Williams. I'm not here for you. I'm not here to own your feelings, and I'm not here to apologize to your feelings and sensibilities either. And if I did, you shouldn't respect me, because anybody who comes out like a little fucking and says, I really am worried about my public image, not my family, not my liberty, not holding government accountable, none of that, but my public image, my public image. Well, you're probably a fat Canadian.
Now, I think this is like a dig into Andy Worski and PPP of the Keno Casino. That's just a guess. That's really just a guess. And I think the next one is going to be a dig at Mr. Medicare, who did a stream about Nick Rekieta, everything going on. And at the end, he didn't say anything bad about Rekieta. He wanted to see him get better.
Or maybe a skinny Canadian who can't fly to the right city. Or maybe you're a doughy Minnesotan. I don't know who you are. But I'm not here to apologize to you or for anything. Running around, come out, apologize, bow down, bow, beg, tell everybody that you're sorry. For what?
For what?
Am I sorry for? They don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. I don't know what I'm supposed to be sorry for. What I know is the government has accused me of some criminal acts. Those criminal acts have impacted me and my family.
Spoiler alert, he's actually pleading guilty to all of this.
This stream is one of the few real serious streams that I have to do. Because I will be back full-time streaming. And this was going to be the announcement for that. A little bit of recognition of the differences in the studio that I have. Well, not different. It's the same studio, but different decorations and arrangements of things. And there's still some stuff to be done on it. Right now, I am charged with a serious felony. Many of you have heard that sentence. Possibility is 25 years. It's a very unlikely outcome for someone like me, but it is a possibility, I suppose, in the grand scheme of things. That's not something to be taken lightly. It's not something to be laughed at. People come out and they say, Nick hasn't taken accountability for his actions. And I'm like, the government hasn't proven my actions. So how can I take accountability for that which hasn't been shown?
Rekieta. Whoa. Rekieta was not having a good time last year. I gotta say that. So from that point on, Rekieta's reputation went through a total free fall. I can't really think of anyone else that I've ever seen go through it like he did before. So we started getting information, truth coming out about his swinger lifestyle. I believe he was banned from his church. I know for a fact, so the way his kids were taught was a lot of the church's kids, they would be taught by the parents. And so he was one of their teachers, and he was essentially told, like, hey, you can't do this anymore. So there's a video, a CCTV a video, full on. During the service, he is tweaking out. Like, he's got the shakes. For anyone who doesn't know, if you are a super alcoholic, you will start to shake if you don't drink enough. If you don't drink. I've only met one person who's had it, and that happened to him like long before I ever met him. So to have that, you have to be in an extreme case. Now, I would expect people from the sector to talk about this, and people like Jim, Ralph, and the Keno Casino definitely did. Ralph, as a matter of fact, the moment Nick Rekieta's mugshot came out, he started selling t-shirts of it. Another group of people that I expected to talk about this were the LawTube people, considering that Nick was essentially the one who started their whole genre. But what I wasn't expecting whatsoever was Anna Kasparian from the Young Turks to talk about him.
Yeah,
so,
of course.
So Nick Rekieta was this, or is this, like, LawTuber who became more and more prominent as he was covering high-profile cases like the.
Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know who Anna Kasparian is, because I genuinely don't think I've ever had her in one of my videos before. She is the co-host to Cenk Uygur on the Young Turks. Now, from what I understand, the Young Turks has been around for a nice while. I remember seeing their videos being promoted on YouTube back when I was a kid. And so Anna was there the entire time. Normally she would talk about like actual news, worldwide events. So just seeing her talk about Nick Rekieta of all people is really like out there.
Amber Heard Johnny Depp one. I think the Kyle Rittenhouse one as well. I didn't know about him until you guys covered that whole thing that happened recently. But so he and his wife end up swinging with Aaron Imholt and his wife. Aaron Imholt is the host of that Steel Toe morning show thing in Minnesota. So they all
right. Another thing I want to say about Anna. So when it comes to Cenk Uygur and Anna Kasparian, Anna is 100% my favorite of the two. So one of my favorite, so I don't watch them. I haven't watched them, I want to say since maybe 2010, 2009. And that was just me being a kid, like clicking links that seemed cool. So I love seeing these highlights of Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur fighting. I'm not exaggerating whatsoever when I say every time they have ever gotten into an argument, Anna is in the right. Every single time. Now, that could just be my bias against Cenk Uygur speaking, but honestly, I
live in Minnesota. They start swinging. What appears to have happened is they seem to have like kicked Aaron Imholt out of the polycule or whatever.
Oh my God.
But they were sharing messages with each other on Signal, and I guess Nick Rekieta's wife had shared some racy images of herself in that Signal chat. Aaron Imholt saved it, and then after,
he showed those on.
So something else I should probably say: Aaron Imholt, obviously, he's the husband of April Imholt. The Rekietas and the Imholts were swinging together. So nowadays, Aaron and Nick cannot stand each other. April actually left Aaron to live with Nick Rekieta and his wife. And we're going to be seeing Aaron a lot more coming up.
Stream?
He didn't show them, but he sent one of the photos to another person that was on his stream. And like they were talking about the image, and he said something along the lines of like, man, your boy didn't do too bad, did he? Or something like that. And so, and by the way, this entire time he's been like really running his mouth about the Rekietas and about his now ex-wife. And so I was like, man, you are playing with fire because you have done some stuff on your stream that I'm sure they can use against you. And guess what? They did. It's amazing. Like it's the train wreck that you can't look away from. I even started reading Kiwi Farms about it. Like
that. Okay. So that comment is, I don't think many people understand just how like insane hearing Anna Kasparian openly talking about reading the Kiwi Farms. So for anyone who's ever gone to the Kiwi Farms, you go there. It's a little edgy compared to the usual net. I think it's fine. The Kiwi Farms is a very clear stance on free speech. So long as you're not posting anything that's illegal, it's fine. So many other organizations, people, they don't like the fact that things won't just get taken down. And so you have people like Cloudflare who said the Kiwi Farms was hosting illegal content, using that as a justification not to provide them service. You have multiple people who will just straight up lie about it and try to pass it off as truth, saying why it should be banned. So Anna just openly talking about reading it is a lot bigger of a deal than most people would think it is.
No. Oh my God. No. You've gone down a dark path.
I know.
It's so funny because like after we covered it, kind of the original drama, I haven't like really bothered to keep up on any of these updates.
What?
So
Sitch, how dare you?
It's funny that you've become like so engrossed in this.
So, like I said, Anna talking about Nick Rekieta. I would not have ever expected that. I think like the craziest thing I've ever seen with Anna was when, unfortunately, I don't have a clip of this because I just thought of it. So one time, Alex Jones and Cenk Uygur just got into it. I want to say I like Alex. I like him a lot more than I like Cenk. I think he was the one openly in the wrong. He went on to Cenk Uygur's show, which is at an event. He took out a shirt of Bill Clinton that just said rape. That was in the Obama change art style. The very famous, I want to say it was graffiti that like was used on t-shirts, posters, all over the place. And so then Alex Jones and Cenk Uygur just started like screaming at each other, and Anna on the sidelines like she claims body shaming is wrong now, but she started like calling him fat. So seeing her like talk about Nick Rekieta, someone who's not even in the news whatsoever, is very funny to me. Now, there was somebody else who talked about Nick Rekieta that I think is a lot funnier. I like to watch him a lot more. And so that man is Alex Stein. So he is also keeping up with the Rekieta situation, but he's a lot more, he works it into his bit. So he will start telling people about Nick Rekieta regardless of how interested they are. He was on Fish Tank. I don't have any clips of this, unfortunately. But so he starts telling like the entire cast. He starts telling them the Nick Rekieta parable, everything that he did. He's going to town council meetings talking about it. And so let me
I have
pull
to
this
get a
up.
soundbite.
So this is on Alex Stein's show, and the person he's speaking with is a man named Vic Mignogna. So Nicholas Rekieta, originally, the way he got famous was he did this series on a Domino's pizza delivery car. So a man bought a used Domino's car, he completely restored it, and so Domino's tried to sue him to get the car back. I believe that is unbelievable. It's like when that, I want to say, Deadmau5, he bought a Ferrari, totally like decked it out, called it a Ferrari because it was like a cat theme. And so the Ferrari company took him to court to take the car back. So Nick Rekieta came to this guy's defense as a lawyer, and it did fairly well. But then in 2018, a movie called Dragon Ball Super Kakarot came out, or Dragon Ball Super Broly came out. Broly was one of the most famous villains in all of Dragon Ball. So there are Dragon Ball movies that are non-canon to the show. You can make an argument for 2 of them being canon, but the Broly movies, he had 3 movies that he was the main villain in. He was incredibly popular. People loved it. Vic Mignogna was the guy who voiced him in the English dub. Well, I should say the Funimation English dub, because there are multiple, but we're not even going to get into that. So Vic Mignogna came in, voiced Broly. The movie did unbelievably well. He was going to get a position as, I want to say, a director or a producer, like something very high up in Funimation. And so a lot of the people there did not like that. So a lot of people don't realize this, but the Funimation crew have some of like the worst people I've ever seen in my life. Sean Schemmel, for example, the voice of Goku in the one that you're familiar with. So there are many different voices of Goku in English. So there's Kirby Morrow, Ian Corlett, and I forget the rest of them. Now, if Sean Schemmel goes to a convention with the other 2, he will not let them say that they are the voice of Goku, even though I believe Kirby Morrow and Ian Corlett did it first. So, sorry, I'm getting way off topic here. So these bad people started making up lies about Vic Mignogna and got him fired. Now, Vic Mignogna is one of the most beloved voice actors in the entire anime community. So he started to get some actual pushback on his side during this whole Me Too situation. Nicholas Rekieta started streaming about it, and that is how he built up his career. I don't want to say like that's all he did, but that was like his big push. Now, unfortunately, Vic Mignogna lost the case. He still has his fans. He's doing his own thing, I believe. And so here we have Alex Stein talking to Vic Mignogna about Nick Rekieta, and this is many, many years after this whole situation happened.
And I know you're going to give a professional answer. Your very good friend has gotten in a lot of trouble, Nick Rekieta. Got arrested with guns, got arrested, and I'm on Nick's side in a lot of this.
All right, before we go any further, actually, yeah, let me get to still
I
of
think
Nick
Nick's
Rekieta.
a good guy.
Not Nick Rekieta,
Everybody's
sorry, Vic
been wanting
Mignogna.
your statement on the Nick thing, and we don't have to elaborate. We don't have to spend the whole show on it, but I wanted to ask you.
So, Vic, the man is a saint. I want to make sure people know Vic is not like dancing around the question. He is genuinely a good person trying to defend Nick Rekieta when He doesn't know the exact full situation.
What are your thoughts, Vic? Because what you just said, freedom, guns, this is what he's going through. And I know he's your friend. I know. And this is my thing. A lot of people on the internet are like, you should throw Nick under the bus. But a real friend stays with you when you're going through tough times.
Well, but a real friend doesn't condone bad behavior either.
Okay.
Right? Here's all I want to say about that.
We have to get a soundbite from you because everybody wants to know.
Well, yeah. When that picture was taken, I had no knowledge of anything that was going on in his private life at his home.
And this is at Anime Matsuri where
that
you're
was
going.
Actually, honestly, that was like 4 years ago. I'm just sorry.
You know Kayla very well?
Now, obviously, Nick has no idea who Kayla Imholt is. He's met Nick. That's Ty Beard on the right. So that is the lawyer that Nicholas Rekieta recommended to Vic Mignogna. Ty Beard was not the lawyer to pick for that. He had no experience in this. I'm not a lawyer. I don't know what I'm talking about, but Ty Beard did not know like the legalities of what he was doing. He was the wrong pick. It was Nicholas Rekieta's idea. He's the one that set them up. I don't think he did it as a bad thing. He did it because he's friends with Ty Beard. But that's who he is.
I've only interacted with her when they came to these events.
Do you think that she would find it weird? And we're going to drop it after this.
Yeah, I don't really want to talk about it.
I know, this is the last question. Show April. Do you think Kayla cares that he has a girlfriend now, though? He's in a throuple.
No, I don't know about any of that.
Wow. This is his new girlfriend.
I don't know about any of that.
Okay, that one was actually way too funny. I really liked how Alex Stein just pulled up April.
Nick Rekieta.
Okay, let me pause this. So there were so many Alex Stein clips when I was like looking for different things I could show. And when I heard this like freestyle rap, there was no way I could not include it.
Now we know 28 grams up in your house, and you're trading your freaking spouse with another DJ who might be gay. You'll tell boots all day in your face, Nick Rekieta. And I will see you later. You will get that probation. In court, no lubrication. They going to make you take a deal. Doing cocaine with your kid ain't chill. And I think that is a rumor. But you're acting like a goofy boomer.
I really like Alex Stein. I know a lot of people probably won't like to hear me say that. I think he's very funny. I love his songs. I love his raps. And I don't watch his main show, but it's something I'd probably like to. So now that we just had that history lesson, we can properly get to the Rekieta segment. I know. All right, let me pull this up. Happy New Year. Good riddance 2024. Hello, friends. At the beginning of this year, I felt like the world was mine to conquer. That was an illusion. And the ensuing 12 months shattered it with wicked prejudice. So, many things combined in about the worst timing possible to shatter the fantasy I was living in, and then carry on attempting to shatter everything I care about in the world. I almost lost everything. For a long while, I lost myself. Addressing problems is a simple matter of identification and modification that gets complicated really quickly when a government prevents you from doing those things. It is further complicated when that same government prevents you from speaking about those things. Nothing else matters when they threaten to take your kids. No amount of constitutional protection holds up when fighting for your rights means losing your family for a year, or permanently. To fight at all is to lose, even if you win in the end. This reality is designed to break your spirit and force your compliance. It is designed to destroy your self-image. You are a subject. Alright, let me pull up the next screenshot real fast. It brought me to the very brink of death, and I'm still working on recovering. Thank you for being with me through it. There is an end, and I will be on to discuss it with all of you soon. Oh, sorry, I read that wrong. Tonight, I am playing games with Kayla and the kids until midnight, and thank Christ that we are all able to recover from this nightmare by drawing into each other. This year has been one of an unimaginable loss for me. My soul will bear the scars forever, and in many ways, I will never recover. But scars are bridges across chasms of hurt, and they symbolize our persistence forward. I don't know how my future unfolds, but I am now convinced that it exists. As for locals, Lady Rackets and I have a plan to finally resolve something I promised before that got disrupted. I hope you like it. See you all soon. Happy New Year. Nick. P.S. 2024. Go fuck yourself. As I said, it's genuinely hard to think of someone who had a worse year in 2024 than Nicholas Rekieta did. I don't think that making posts like this is ever a good idea. I remember when I was younger, I heard this quote: every time you're having a bad day, everyone who hates you wins. Well, posting something like that, if you don't like Nick Rekieta, you're just gonna love it. Now, as I mentioned earlier, there's a man in this story named Aaron Imholt. Both Aaron and Nick hate each other after the polycule broke up, and now the dust has started to settle, Aaron and Nick have handled it very differently. So, Nicholas Rekieta, as everyone knows, he comes from the sector, and the way the sector works, if you, have a blood feud with somebody, you don't go your separate ways. It's just nonstop. You hate them, you talk about them, and it goes on forever, essentially, until one person DFEs and leaves the internet. Now, Aaron Imholt, unlike Nicholas Rekieta, he used to work at a radio station. So he used to work there, professional situation. He's a local celebrity, and he got fired. Honestly, I probably should have read why he got fired, but I didn't. So he got fired from that and started his own show, Steel Toe Morning Show. Bit of a dumb name, but I suppose it's no worse than A.D.A Online. Now, all this means that Aaron has his own group of A-logs called the Dabbleverse, and Nicholas Rekieta started hanging out with them. One of said A-logs is an actual freak named Patrick Melton. Melton, for those of you who are unaware of who he is, his full name is Patrick Melton. He's a man with a 5 to 6 minute long video of him talking about what he would do to children, mainly Aaron's kids. Now, unfortunately, it's very bad, and I cannot show it here on this video. But, however, we can get Aaron talking about it.
Patrick Melton, in my opinion, has a problem and a history of making sexualized comments. He says they're jokes, but they're sexualized comments. Whatever context you want to put them in, joke, serious, whatever your opinion is, he's made sexualized comments about children on more than one occasion.
Yeah.
And at some points, it's been about mine.
Now, after listening to that, I want you to imagine what Felton might look like. I'll give you a hint. He is 50 years old, shockingly. Alright, now you've probably got your mental image in. This is him. Now, both Melton and Rekieta broke the law. What they did was they broke into Aaron's Google account by using a computer that Aaron had logged onto previously, back when him and Nick were still cool. So the theory is, Aaron logged into his Google account to do a stream while he was at Rekieta's household. Now, if you have a computer, if you use a Chromium browser, which most likely is the case, you'll have a password manager. It essentially just saves everything, really saves you time with logging in. So Nick Rekieta most likely had this. Now, just because somebody is logged into an account does not mean that you can read their emails, go through their accounts. It's kind of similar to reading somebody else's mail, from what I understand. Now, this is actually very illegal. It's considered hacking. And Melton is actually so stupid that he admitted to doing this on live stream. All right, let me get this clip up too.
Aaron used to do shows from Nick's house when they were having one of their swinger getaways.
All right, now I'm not going to promote committing any crimes on this channel, but I will say this. If you do not go online afterwards talking about how you did it. Don't film it and post it online. Don't take pictures and post it online. This is how people get caught. I'm actually amazed that people still do this.
And apparently Aaron logged in to say, this is all apparent. And by the way, even if Nick told me this, it's just what Nick says, you know? So who knows what's real? Nick could be fucking with all of us, right? But if this is true, then Aaron logged in and signed in to Nick's computer almost a year ago. The first time they did shows from the Rekieta compound. And when I say logged in, I don't mean Gmail. I mean Google. And it looks like the browser. Looks like he synced the account to this Chrome, to this computer. And this would be everything Aaron Imholt Google. This is YouTube. Analytics, money, numbers, all of it. Gmail. Phone call record. Voicemail.
Oh, so you've heard Art of Sun Tzu. Never reveal your plan to the enemy, or I think it's like never correct your enemy when they're making a mistake. Melton he gave Aaron Imholt he showed his hand. And because of that, he and Nick Rekieta are both in so much trouble.
Anything that's your Google account. Search history. So hold on, Nick can see 11 months of Aaron's stuff. No. He's had access for 11 months. He can see everything ever.
Oh, I don't know what there's to say. I want you to look at that face. That is somebody who revealed their entire plan, got himself in federal trouble, and he didn't even need to do it.
Aaron's Google account might be decades old. Gmail, YouTube. Who knows? Years of text messages, voice. Who knows? And if he's had 11 months, he's had plenty of time to go through and back up and sync all of it.
Now, I know throughout that, I paused and said that was probably the dumbest thing Melton could have possibly done. So there is a YouTuber called Legal Mindset. Now, Legal Mindset is another law tuber. I like to watch his Johnny Somali coverage. I think it's pretty good. He lives in, so I believe he normally lives in South Korea, but he's currently in Thailand. So he can still talk about the law, like even if he's not living in North America. And so I got a clip of him saying that Patrick Melton is in big boy trouble for doing that.
Yes, Patrick Melton pretty much confessed to a federal crime, and he's unauthorized access, and then he's using his platform to distribute something that he knows came from unauthorized access. Absolutely, he can be in trouble for sure.
Man, that is actually so good to hear. Melton getting in trouble for that is... Melton and Nick, I should say, both them getting in trouble, could not ask for a better situation. Actually, we'll get to Nick pleading guilty later. Now, the reason why I talked about all this was because on January 13th, Aaron confirmed that Nick and Melton were under a federal investigation, all because of Melton's big mouth.
But yeah, my lawyer said there's a very pending criminal investigation into both of them. Now, I thought it was just one.
Now, before we go any further, I just want to talk about that little logo in the bottom corner. So, Stoney's Bar, I'm assuming they have a deal with Aaron Imholt, like, hey, You put this in, we'll pay you a little bit of money. Maybe you get like a 10% off your deal, and maybe a drink with like a meal, something like that. So what's so unfortunate is that because it's like a restaurant or a bar and it's stuck in Minnesota, it gets all this worldwide exposure, but they can't see a single cent of it because nobody's around the area.
I was under the understanding that one person was under criminal investigation. The other person was like, what do you call it? An interested party. But it's both that are under criminal investigation. So I got to stay hands off in terms of proximity on that one. And then he said, and by the way, that investigation is currently affecting your current case. And I'm like, oh, okay. He said, yeah, so stop. Nick and Patrick, by the way, people are saying who? Nick and Patrick. It's the computer thing. It's the computer deal. So then he says also, call the police tomorrow. They need a few things. And I said, oh, okay. So so when I tweeted today that I found out some interesting news, there was that. And then also now I have an errand to run tomorrow. It's probably a phone call, but I still have an errand to run. So I guess I let my mouth run a little bit early, thinking that I could just go do that. But apparently there's gay ops on that side, and then also a criminal investigation into two of them on the other side.
I really don't know what to say about that one. Melton got himself and Nick Rekieta on federal charges. Like I don't know if Nick Rekieta pleading guilty in April. So I know I keep jumping all over the place, but so he plans on pleading guilty. His next court date is in April, and I don't know if this is going to be like a part of it. I hope it's not. So only a few days later, after that, Nick Rekieta got one of the dumbest tattoos I've seen in my life. And I've seen a lot of bad tattoos. All right, so as you can see here, he got the state flower for Texas, and I don't know the other one. So one is like from where he was born. The other is from where his wife was born. Originally, from what I understand, he did not plan on sharing this. But the way it was like found out that he had it was that the tattoo artist posted this on his Instagram. And because we already knew he had that Chinese letter tattoo above it, that is how people like immediately found out. Now, I don't have issues with adults getting tattoos regardless of how dumb they are, but I can still laugh at them. So Nick was actually on a show from a man called Camelot. He's famous for talking about working at a GameStop and having a funny accent. He is friends with Nicholas Rekieta. I believe they've met each other IRL. And so Nick would actually show this tattoo off there.
A blue bonnet, because I...
Uh-oh. Oh, whoops. Okay, give me 1 second. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, my bad.
A blue
Let's try this out
bonnet,
again.
because I was born in Texas, right?
Yeah.
And then Lady Raggeds is from Arkansas, so these are apple blossoms. They're the two state flowers. So I got that done as well.
Crazy story, Nick Rekieta. So something else that's like started coming out, or more so being questioned. I don't really have any clips of this, unfortunately. Nick Rekieta, he's not allowed to drink or do any drugs. He has to do drug tests, and if he like gets caught, like he's in trouble. So a lot of people believe that he has been doing whippets in order to get past the drug tests. Now, first of all, I will say this. I have never done that. I will never do that. It is essentially killing your brain cells, and it's probably one of the stupidest ways to get high. Now, Nick would deny doing this on his show, saying that he's not high when he's talking. But he also says, like, people don't really know what he sounds like when he's sober. That's somewhat reasonable, I want to say, because when you think about it, Rekieta, for years now, whenever he streams, he's having a couple of drinks. But I'd like to say, like, people still know, like, what a normal sounding Rekieta would sound like, as opposed to him when he's, like, beyond out there. So finally, as I kind of hinted at earlier, Nick Rekieta pled guilty in a plea deal. So as long as he doesn't misbehave or do any more crimes, everything is going to be taken off his record in a couple of years. But we're not going to find out how that ends until April 18th. Now, there was something else that happened with Mr. Rekieta that I didn't talk about, and that's because I think it's the perfect transition to the next segment. Nick Rekieta, through no fault of his own, then had Ethan Ralph burn his bridge. Alright, sorry there, I had to go for a second, so I might sound a little different. So, like I said, Rekieta, through no fault of his own, then had Ralph burn his bridge, out of nowhere. Rekieta, you allegedly dosed your child with coke. While at Imholt rail your wife, April, admittedly an upgrade. I am changing everything. Howard Castle. I tell it how I see it. Stable change. Oh, fuck, no, come on. Okay, sorry, I did not click that. Stable change. Ethan Ralph is someone who needs absolutely zero introduction on this channel. But why would Ralph tweet that at Rekieta? Well, it all stems back to a little bender that he was on. So, back on January 7th, 2024, Ralph did a 6-hour stream. He was off camera on it for about 5.5 hours, however. He got up, tripped and... Oh, okay, come on, let me play this video. So, Ralph got up, he tripped, and fell. So, Ralph fell. I'm positive, the video was muted at the time. So then you can see, let me pause it right. So you can see Ralph on the bottom, crawling on the floor. So he's crawling on the floor, and then he's gone for hours. But then at the 6-hour mark, he showed up looking like this. So I don't think I have a clip of it, but Ralph claims that third flab of skin, underneath his chest, is from him smoking too much weed, which is something I've never heard of in my life. Now, some people pointed out that Ralph has cuts and scratches on his face. Now, to his credit, I believe it was a couple days earlier, he said how his cat had gotten outside. He went out, got the cat, and because the cat had never been outside before, it's like an inside cat, it scratched him in the face. So, he didn't fall down and break glass into his face like some people thought. At least if we're going by what he said, which I think in that case is pretty believable. So, the next day, next day, January 8th, Milo Yiannopoulos, one of the biggest names from Gamergate, who Ralph used to actually call Master Milo, talked about doing an Ethan Ralph intervention at Dick Masterson's house in LA. So, he said this while he was in a Dunkin' Donuts bathroom. Let me grab the clip here.
I just couldn't wait any longer before making an announcement about a special Pigotits intervention. I'm going to be doing an opioid intervention. My dear friend.
So, I'd like to say this. Years ago, I read this book called How to Own Your Time. And it talked about doing something called time chunking. Where, if you could do two things at the same time, not multitasking, but, two things where it doesn't take too much concentration to do at the same time, you should do it. And so I don't think that filming yourself on the toilet is really a good example of that.
Former protege, now wild child, prodigal son, if he survives, heart failure this week. Ethan Ralph. I'll be on the kill stream next week. Look out for announcements from him. Don't die, Ralph. Not now. Not after everything.
So, at first, Ralph said that he was excited to do the stream. Let me check. I think this is the right one. Oh, no. Wrong one. So, yeah, Ralph originally said that he was, he originally said he wanted to do the stream. And then, how do I say this? He perceived a slight against him. And so that turned him into attacking Milo. Oh, hey, Milo, you admitted getting by a priest, got kicked out of CPAC. You are loser, Nero. That's Milo's Twitter handle. And takes it up the pooch shoot. Men of alpha males outed you. You speak too freely. That's what ruined your career. So then after that, Dick Masterson came out. Oh boy, Nero. Are we doing the intervention of Ethan Ralph this Saturday? This guy isn't going to see 2026. Live streams, super chats, go the kids, lol. He's got to be sober, though, at least for 2 hours. I will smoke him. Both Ralph and Milo would then get into a Twitter fight, which ended with Ralph blocking Milo. Let's see. So Milo posted a GIF of Ralph's dead mother saying, Sandra's waiting, join her, Ralph. And saying, let's go pick her tits. Ralph said, ahem. Hey, Milo, I will destroy you. She into the Autogon, you... Okay, I don't really know what that means. So Milo would then say, I taught you to troll. I taught you to be cruel. I taught you to be vindictive. I taught you to be churlish. I don't know what that word means. I taught you to be spiteful, but I never taught you to be such a pathetic, thin-skinned coward. He's here. Well, he then posts a screenshot of Ralph. It's saying the Ralph retort has blocked you. This is something that I have seen too. Ralph has recently unblocked me. He did that during a mass unblock. He thinks he has the temerity stand up to me. He doesn't have the... Okay, I don't know what this word is. He doesn't have the temerity to stand up to SO. I will eat his lunch. I want blood sports at Dick Masterson's. 1v1 v Milo. Now, this just wasn't through text either. Ralph can be seen addressing Milo while he's in an airport bathroom, absolutely sloshed. Now, let me pull this up here. Okay, come on.
Hey.
Now, I just want to say, again, this is in the middle of the airport.
Milo, you sucker. Why don't you face me one-on-one in Dick Masterson's house with A.D.A girl, with Sean, whoever we can get? Why don't you fucking man up, you son of a...
Now, you can actually hear him kind of echoing a little bit throughout the building. So, if you're in this area... Now, I don't know if he's gone through security and he's just like in the departure area. I don't know where he is. But people in this area can just hear him screaming. And remember, this is in Mexico. So these people don't even understand what he's saying. So I think it's pretty safe to say that Ralph was told that he can't be screaming like that in the middle of the airport, and he had to take it somewhere else. And I only say that because he then went to the bathroom to continue that. Now, he could have been making fun of Milo for doing the same thing in the Dunkin' Donuts, but I don't really know.
And so, you meet me in LA tomorrow, and I will take care of business, you motherfucker.
Sorry. Oh, let me go back a little bit. Oh, sorry, that just made me laugh a bit too much. Now, just because Milo is fighting Ralph, that doesn't make him a good person or a good guy in this story. Now, Milo has said publicly that he keeps hard drives, what he calls the vault. It's essentially filled with dirt on every single person that he's ever worked with, whether they were friendly with him or not. So Milo had a ghostwriter that essentially wrote his books, wrote his articles, and from what I understand, wrote scripts to his videos. And one day he said to Milo, hey, listen, I'm looking to get paid. So Milo, instead of paying the guy for, building his career, instead decided he was going to blackmail him. We can actually see Lauren Southern here talk about it.
Milo did not want to pay Alum royalties for the book he wrote, and he figured it would be easier to call up people like me, call up friends and coworkers, and ask them all for any blackmail he could get on Alum Bokhari, so he could go to him and say, listen, I'm not going to pay you royalties, and you're not going to say a word about it or go to court, or I'm going to destroy your life with blackmail.
Now, for anyone unaware who Lauren Southern is, she worked for the Rebel. It's I believe it's a Canadian news station. I know they talk about a lot of Canada stuff here, but I'm 100% sure actually, yeah, it is Canadian. So she worked with them, went to all these events. She got incredibly popular. and she actually worked with Milo a fair bit. Now, this video was like, I want to say 2 hours long, so I don't have the whole thing, but one of the main things that she said was Milo actually called her up, asking her to lie about somebody else for him.
What kind of a way is that to operate? I still like, it's crazy because looking at this, it's like, what the fuck? Who does that to people?
All right, so while Ralph and Milo were arguing with each other, Dick Masterson seemed to be actually like interested in doing the intervention stream. And here you can see Ralph call it the Battle of the Century. Oh, wait, no, I think this is the wrong one. It's set the Battle of the Century, Rock versus Hogan, Flair versus Steamboat. It's gonna be an epic destruction. So, Dick Masterson lives in Los Angeles, like I said earlier, and it might be easy for everyone to forget who doesn't live in that area, but this is during the Palisades fires that were, I believe they were like the worst damage, the biggest fire in American history, damage-wise, perhaps spreading out like city-wise. I could be wrong. So this intervention stream could have actually been pretty good, but unfortunately, Dick Masterson canceled it. There are many theories on why. Some people believe that Ralph was on something, and Dick didn't want Ralph there, like on drugs or drunk, around his pregnant fiance. And Dick would also talk about it that we're going to get into in a little bit. Well, Ralph wasn't too happy about this, and he started tweeting, I'm quitting. I'll finish up. Oh, fuck. I'm sorry. I keep doing this. Okay. I'm quitting. I'll finish up some business first, but I'm tired of this. People who have done more drugs in Colombia have a holier than thou attitude. Just done with it. I'm going to see my son the next 2 days and then disappear. Oh, and your new co-host sucks. Bad. Vito was held in higher esteem than me. You can't make this up. Stars of the past. Women did drugs, coke, DUI. Oh, okay, I can't say this. Kiwi Farms was right. Now, this might seem a little extreme, but Vito has done things like defend the movie Cuties, and even brought a 13-year-old girl to Dick Masterson's house. So, according to Andy Worski, Vito also has admitted to doing something beyond disgusting to his cat, and I'm not repeating it here. Just because I don't want the first A.D.A getting taken down. Now we get to the point that got us here. Ralph decided that he was going to burn all of his boats and go all in. Rekieta, you allegedly dosed your child with coke while let Imholt rail your wife. April, admittedly an upgrade. I am changing everything. How it possible? I tell it how I see it. Stable change. Vito, you've never been funnier. Sorry, scratch that. Vito, you've never been funnier than me. Except as a running joke about Low Tier and Dick picked you just to make fun of you, LMAO. If you are whenever somebody drinks, the phone and the computer should be put away. Now, Vito would actually respond to Ralph, actually like getting him, saying like, oh, let me pull it up. Not forgetting this time. Bro, you literally asked me to lunch yesterday, lol. I wanted to study how pesos lure their victims. And then Vito, Max Cool said, lol, okay. So a lot of people believe that the only reason that happened was because Ralph says pesos a lot, considering he lives in Mexico. Still pretty funny, though. So Ralph going against Vito or Rekieta isn't really anything of note. In fact, Nick Rekieta and Ralph have went to war before. I think Ralph called all of Nick Rekieta's kids like a bunch of mongoloids. They were like against each other for years too. What was absolutely surprising was he actually also went up against Dick Masterson. Now, Dick Masterson is someone who has never once denounced Ralph for his behavior, actually has defended Ralph's behavior, and Ralph seemingly looked up to him. So even Null was surprised when Ralph declared war. It's not possible. He's turning on Juju? It's not scientifically possible. Our models don't even anticipate this. Our prediction technology can't even factor it in. Now, because I've never really talked too much about Dick Masterson, I'll say this. He keeps what's known as a whack pack. Essentially, it's a group of people that he'll keep on standby. They're just a bunch of degenerate, crazy people, and he will show them every now and then for content. Now, some people believe that Ralph was actually being kept in his group for that reason. So both Dick and Vito would then talk about this on their show, The Biggest Problem in the Universe, and as usual, I've prepared some clips.
And then today I wake up to like some tweets that are like, Vito is a snake. Kiwi Farms was right. And I'm gonna bury. Yeah, I talked to Null, and I'm gonna bury.
I talked to Null.
Oh, you talked to Null.
He
Yeah.
said, what did you say? I said no.
I guess there was supposed to be an intervention that fell through. Is that something that happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so the intervention.
Yeah, they're supposed to have the intervention stream. Unfortunately, never happened. I think it would have been the content.
Didn't happen. That's a different story.
I'm doing real work.
Right.
Like I'm in the middle.
Okay, so as I was saying earlier, so Dick Masterson lives in LA. During the fires, he was actually dealing with other people who were like in trouble. Say what you want about him. If he's actually telling the truth here, I think he's doing the right thing.
All the day doing real work.
Sure.
Actual, face to face, Zoom shit. Talking to my friend about his sister moving into a new place because her house burned down, and then I'm getting.
It's a bad time.
I'm getting texts about. So when do we do it? And I'm like, you know what? What am I? I'm imagining like, is this just going to be another show? I'm picturing. What am I going to do? Is Rob going to try to kill himself on the show? Why am I having these thoughts? Why am I thinking about this at all?
All right, I'm going to stop this right here. If you ever get a gut feeling that someone's going to do something like that, like in your house around you, avoid them. Like, do not associate, get out of that situation, because this is going to sound crazy, but like, if you're getting that feeling, you're getting it for a reason.
Didn't he come over, what was it? Was it this summer or last summer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I want you to take a look at Dick Masterson's face. So if this is the visit that I'm thinking of, that he's thinking of, Ralph had come over to the house, and in his kitchen, Dick Masterson just has this drawer of drugs. So Ralph went into it and took a bunch of LSD from that cabinet. And apparently he was like, they thought he was gonna die. And so that's probably what he's thinking about.
And he was he seemed like he was like kind of wavering on the the
precipice of death, the veil of death. Yeah.
So say what you want about Dick Masterson, but that was actually a very good. I want to say that was a very good view into the situation. Well, not long after that, and Ralph would announce that he had gotten into another street fight. I got in a fight in Tijuana, was out in an hour. I hit this found fat ass bouncer in the face. 5,000 peso fine, no paperwork. Now, we don't really know if that story's true, nor do we know if it's not, so I guess we're just going to have to take Ralph's word for it. Ralph would actually respond to Dick Masterson saying that Ralph might have sunsetted himself in another tweet. So Dick seems to think I was going to literally die facing Milo. Lol. What? Also, of course, we were hoping it up a bit on purpose. Totally insane reasoning. It was a comedy bit with some seriousness at the end about sobriety. But he only seemed interested in the comedy. Hyping, why'd Elon mess up everything? OMFG. I don't really know what he's referring to there, but I suppose whatevs. Ralph and then something very bizarre happened. So Ralph had declared war on Milo. He was supposed to talk to him on Dick Masterson's show. And then, out of nowhere, they just became friends again. You're always surprised who stands by you. Milo's a mare to me. but we fight sometimes, lol. He told me last night that if I was sober for 3 months, he would do a podcast with me. I don't want to speak out of school, lol. Something he obviously doesn't have to do. Contrast that with someone else, couldn't be more boring on my show, going through the motions. Oh, but he was hype and always brought it in 2018. Now, no cams, phone it in, and he knows I'm right. Funny how that works. Now, Ralph would then go on to Pod Awful to talk to Jesse P.S. and Vito and Milo about the whole thing. I like the stream, but this isn't one of my videos where I cover everything, so we're going to get back to the tweets. Ralph would then announce that he was going to rehab. Now, I'm about to break a cardinal rule I have about Ralph, and seemingly everyone else has that rule too. I will not make fun of somebody that is going through a serious change in their life. I'm not going to make fun of a fat person jogging on the side of the road, someone not going to parties or meeting up with the boys at the bar because they don't want to be drinking, all that stuff. So Ralph on the 16th announced that he was going to rehab. I believe he actually got out of it very recently. So therefore, for the first time ever reading something that Ralph wrote, I'm not going to do my cartoonish southern accent. This is longer, skip it, and watch the video later if you want. First off, go to Sven Stoffel's page and buy every single thing there. He's a great guy and I'm sad I won't be able to fulfill my booking. I know he will come back, hopefully even as the first guest upon my return, if he's down. I went in for a pre-screen at rehab, and they were astonished at my drug and alcohol history, including recent history, lol. They wanted to take me in right away because of some markers, but I said I needed the day to get several things in order. I originally expected intake to be Saturday. I arranged to go in past 6 tonight. I will record a farewell message in a bit. I want to order my thoughts and actually script something out, which I rarely do on video. Ralph would then upload a video on his Twitter called Goodbye for Now. He said that he had been playing a character for the past few years and incorporating it into his life, kind of like wrestling. I believe he said playing the gimmick, or living the gimmick. Ralph would then thank a bunch of people throughout the years, including Mr. Medicare, someone who he famously shouted out, "Why won't you die, Medicare? Why won't you fucking die?" Now, Ralph posted this video right before he went to rehab for the month, and like I said, I think he's out right now, but I could be wrong. I've cut out some highlights for this one as well.
I think most of you know I have a passion for professional wrestling. In wrestling, there's a term called living the gimmick. It's a pejorative term, not a positive one. I brought all the negative aspects you've seen me exhibit into this line of work, but over time, they were just incorporated into my online persona. The Ralph ML is a term someone came up with in 2018 is a joke, and I just ran with it. All the problems I have were simply written into the gimmick. Hard drinker? That's just the Ralph ML way. Do it on air and drink even more. Womanizer? Of course. No big deal. Write it into the story and lean into it. Criminal issues? Sure. Who cares? The police. Baby mama drama? All good. What are you? Burnouts and vicious feuds with former friends and lovers. Fuck 'em. It's a nasty business and everyone is a snake anyway. Go scorched earth. Trust no. You get the idea. This is not a healthy way to live life, although it has been quite entertaining.
I really hope he turns everything around. I hope that he's able to say, hey, listen, I'd like to see in 3 to 5 years, Ralph still around saying, listen, I want you to see what I was like back then. I want to see him like life turned around and be able to say, if I could do it, you could too.
I love a lot of people who no longer love me, even though that is not my reputation. I don't think I would ever even tell you that unless it was a day like today. I want to thank Milo Yiannopoulos for giving me this gift and this curse. I want to thank Mr. Medicare for relentlessly promoting my writing during Gamergate and promoting my show, especially once I was released from jail. And also, I don't know if you guys know this, the first time I was ever on stream was actually at the invitation of his wife, Jade. And she introduced me as a journalist, pro Gamergate journalist. And I said, no. I'm a muckraker, not a journalist. So thank her as well. But once upon a time, also, Nick Fuentes and the Groypers meant a lot to the kill stream. Thank you for those times. Shout out to Destiny. The guy is a machine.
Now, I could not imagine shouting out Destiny. Of course, this was a little bit before his recent controversy, which we're going to get in the next month's video.
And he added a lot to things over the years. Thank you all for everything, and know that I will be back. Nobody does it quite like the Ralph Mail. I must bid you farewell at this moment, but it's not goodbye. It's just goodbye for now.
So that ends our Ralph segment and brings us on to one of our shorter lolcow segments. Now, since Ralph hopped back on the wagon, I think it's only fair to use this as an opportunity to get a segment in of our next lolcow, OnlyUseMeBlade. Now, OnlyUseMeBlade, aka Brian Rizzo, is one of my favorite people online. So I briefly watched him when I was a kid, during the old school Call of Duty days. Not so much as Blame Truth or 402 Thunder, but still a pretty fair bit. So as an adult, then watching his drinking streams, I can honestly say there's no one like him. Watching an OnlyUseMeBlade drinking stream gives off like the thrill of gambling, watching a slasher movie, and seeing your favorite sports team win all at the same time. I think the last time I spoke on Blade was after New Year's 2024, and that's only because Blade made a real attempt to sober up and change his lifestyle. If he hadn't, there would have probably been a part 4 to my Falling Through Rock Bottom series. So I've made a Blade video, and like I said, so long as someone's trying to improve their life and make a genuine attempt, I'm not gonna say anything bad about them. But considering that January 24th, Blade relapsed, I think that it's pretty fair that we can do it. Okay, let's see. Load.
Okay, I guess
Alright, so Blade was playing some online poker. Not real money, I'd say. I think it's a pretty fair statement. And he got a donation for him to drink.
I have to
And
go
I want to
get
say this. It's been like a year since Blade has been off the bottle.
little bottles. No scam. I'm not going to scam. I guess let's finish this game of poker. I guess I'm going to leave something on. Should I take the stream with me? No, but that was going to dox our... That's going to dox our map, though.
Oh, here we are.
Tiny bottles.
See, the thing about tiny bottles is that...
I know you've been waiting for me, dude.
As long as you just drink the same amount that's in a big bottle, it makes no difference. I remember once I used to think, oh, if I only have 6 beers in my fridge and the rest in my storage unit... well, I had a small storage unit in my apartment. I said,
what up, dude?
Obviously, I'm not going to drink, like, past the 6.
I don't know, but...
I learned very fast, like, that did not matter. One of my favorite things I've ever heard Blade say was, Jaeger bombs are the funnest drunk you can ever have. Okay, so I'm going to pause this real fast. I want to say January, February, March, sometime in that area, last year, 2024. So I had a friend who had a birthday, and a bunch of us decided, hey, we're going to rent an Airbnb, go downtown, and come back. So the guy apparently, like, hates Jaeger. But when we were buying, like, Jaeger bombs for the group, he wouldn't turn any down. It's a little upsetting to say, but man, he was out of it. He was sick, throwing up. I felt for him. And then, I like to say that to him, too. Jaeger bombs are the most fun drunk you can ever have. And I will attribute that quote to that friend, even though, like, everyone in our friend group knows it's a Blade quote.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. Ooh. There you go. Happy. 1 year down. Come on, Bone. I know it's bad. Been waiting a year.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. If Blade gets drunk to the way he used to once a year, I'm gonna say this. It's probably not it's 100% not beneficial to him, but the dude had holes in his legs. I know he had diabetes. So I'm gonna say this. It's not good for him, but it's drastically better for him.
There you go. Happy.
Words cannot describe how happy I was watching this.
There you go, dude. Oh my fucking Lord. Don't scam. Bro, the people that donate are like, here you go.
You can hear in his voice that he's starting to turn. So one of the thrills, I want to say, of listening to an OnlyUseMeBlade stream when he's drinking is it starts out the same way as always. Blade is sober. Maybe sometimes he's already had a couple. But it starts out, Blade is sober. And so he has that first drink. And from that point on, it's just a countdown until he turns inevitably into Lit Romney, his drunken like altar. So I watched Cold Ones with Keemstar, Anything for Views, and I believe Max Mofo. I think Pyrocynical was there, or Colossal is Crazy, one of the two. And so while he was there, Keemstar just said, listen, Drunk Blade and Sober Blade are two completely different people. Sober Blade is a saint. I love him. I would hang out with him. And dude, I would take a photo with him so fast. But Drunk Blade is like a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde situation. He is not the same person. He is a lunatic. And like, I've heard people say like, oh no, when you drink like too much, that just turns you more into who you are. With most people, I think that's true. But with Blade, I really do think it's like a serum that changes him into a completely different person. Like some of the things I've seen him do. One time Blade was in a hotel drinking during the day. And so he pees into a cup. And then he just takes the cup and throws it behind him at the wall. I remember when I saw that, I couldn't believe my eyes.
Oh, Blade. The people that don't donate, these people can't even donate an avatar to their shit. And those are the ones that out of the hype. Then do it, dude. Yeah, righty. 150. Do it. 150 for a bottle. Do it for a pint, though, not a fifth. A pint. I don't know.
So, for anyone unaware of Jaeger, well, I shouldn't say anyone unaware of Jaeger, but its original like usage. So, in Germany, Jaeger, I'm positive that's where it comes from. It was originally used as like an after-dinner drink. I forget what the word is, but it's like supposed to help digestion. It's got all these herbs in it. It's supposed to be good for you. But like nightclub cult, because Jaeger tastes kind of like licorice to those people who've never had it. And so when you mix it with Red Bull, it's also very syrupy. So when you mix it with Red Bull, it really tastes nice. And so people have just turned it from this after dinner drink meant for digestion to this absolute party drink. And I've never seen, it's also highly filled with sugar. So I know sugar is like necessary for making alcohol, but like it's bad on that level. And so Blade drinking it nonstop is just out there. He had a Jaeger tree for Christmas. It was like a Christmas tree built out of Jaeger bottles. And I gotta say, I want one. I would kill for one. But I am not going to buy the Jaeger needed for that. Like, I bought Jaeger, I want to say I bought one bottle of Jaeger in like 5 years. Oh, and here it is. Here it is. I gotta say, he should have gone back to the nuke. That was where it cost $250 for him to like drink the bottle.
56 has just donated $150. Welcome back. You're untethered.
I think on Blade's birthday one year, he actually got 2 nukes in a row.
Perfect. We are getting the bottle. I got a ride to go get the bottle. You know what? Let's just fucking do this right now, dude. Perfect. Perfect.
Yeah, you can hear he's not like lit Romney, but he's still like getting there.
I got a homie that's coming down right now, and he's going to take me to the store, and we're going to get another bottle, and then we're going to have a good night, and then we're never drinking again. Figure it out. We're not streaming it. We need to. Oh, let's go, dude. Let's go, dude.
So, man, I don't really know what to say. So, like I said, Blade, he relapsed. You can see he just left. He went to go get another bottle. And after he came back, I don't know if he drank any like in between because he was beyond like out there. Oh yeah, throw the bottle behind him. Look at that face.
God, you're a poor.
Once he starts saying people are poor, Jiminy Christmas, you know what he's turned into. So this is something I really liked. Blade just started like playing an old video of him, I want to say with IP2 people, just passed out drunk, because they used to mess with him all the time.
Neat. Hey, man.
I don't know why anyone would ever use gel shaving cream. Like, just buy the regular shaving cream.
Do you see a Blade sleeping?
Nothing is ever. I wish I had the picture of this right now. So one time while Blade was passed out, they literally just like painted him up like Pepe the Frog.
Why'd you do that, dude? You're a That's unbecoming of hype, dude.
Dude.
Hey, listen. Maybe you die, Malcolm.
The way the amount of N-bombs he dropped in this, like, that's how you know, like, he's drunk.
Come back. Maybe you
die.
Maybe you die. Do I care about my stream anymore, dude? Maybe I don't.
I don't know how Blade's a real person. I don't know what to say about him. Like, Blade is a national treasure. There's no one else like him. So, like I said at the beginning of this, I don't watch live streams for the most part. I like to watch things after the fact at 2x speed. And even then, it's like, usually I'll only watch things if I'm like making a video on it. But Blade is like something else. There are so many watch parties that used to go on whenever Blade was streaming. People would just get together, like in voice calls, like group chats, texting, just like sending screenshots, talking about everything he did. It was a magical time. Honestly, I want to say I miss Blade acting like that. I really do. But for his sake, and I have to support him and not drinking anymore. Now, moving on to another lolcow. This time, we, however, do not have a proper transition like we did before, is Styxhexenhammer. Now, Styx is someone that I can 100% say I have never spoken about outside of a short I did on Asmongold, where I said Asmongold was the Styxhexenhammer Cyrax lookalike. So, back in 2008, I know for a fact that I saw Styx at some point in like recommended videos or like trending, because that's when he made his channel. I was on YouTube at the time, and I know for a fact I saw him before I was a teenager. I never really watched him, and I never really took him seriously either, but I've been aware of him longer than I've known who Chris Chan was. Well, as it turns out, Styx is a total lunatic that worships an owl god named Stolas. And after the assistant director of New Orleans self-sunsetted, Styx thought that it would be appropriate to announce and claim responsibility for it through his chaos magic. The backstory for this one is Styx had previously been arrested back in September in New Orleans for domestic abuse, and after a few nights in jail, he was bailed out by the Quartering because him, Quartering, and Melanie Mack were all doing a show together. Now, I feel like Styx getting arrested there and the district attorney dying are not related whatsoever. But Styx here would disagree with me. Let me pull this up. Uh-oh, it's not playing. All right, I hope you're still with me here. I just had a little glitch. Wait till you hear about my setup, and then I think you'll understand why. So, as I said, Styx does not really agree with me.
Chaos magic is the concept that you are generating energy. It doesn't have to be negative, necessarily speaking. It can be quite protective. And
I just want to say, I know it's because of the angle with the camera, but his legs look like way too big for his body.
And you're launching it at a
Actually, if I'm being honest, he kind of looks like the Treyarch symbol from Call of Duty.
Specific target, so to speak. That is that the energy that is generated partially in the form of ritual, potentially, partially in the form of meditation, simple mental focus and so forth, goes forth and does its job. The idea is that it's sort of like, imagine that ritual magic is like firing a rifle, so to speak. We're going to use a physical metaphor for it. The rifle is very accurate, takes out an individual target. It's very, very target-head. Let's say that you utilize, though, a shotgun.
So I want to say this, Styx has no idea what he's talking about.
Well, I mean, if you fire it at intermediate distance, you might hit anything. It's not exactly sure necessarily the accuracy is much lower. The power is still high, but the accuracy is lower. Chaos magic, in my...
Okay, I'm just going to say this, and the only reason I even know about this is because I hate how shotguns are treated in a video game, where they're dangerous up close, and then, like, 2 feet away, they're useless. So they're dangerous up to 50 feet. It's not like they spread out. I want to say, like, Call of Duty World at War sawed-off shotgun levels, because that was pretty much insane. It was the most useless attachment I can think of.
Personal black magic practicing experience is exceptionally effective at eliminating persecutors and people that are corrupt and so forth. Yeah, chaos magic is real. And it's very, very funny because people will believe that up in the sky, somewhere out in space, I don't know, maybe on another planet where we can't see it.
Remember, he's going to criticize other people. He believes in an owl god, Stolas, and there's this cartoon, I think it's called Has Been Hotel, or Hell of a Boss, one of the two. And so it has this Stolas character in it. He has a framed picture of this cartoon character just on his desk.
There are cherubim that are floating around, God's throne and stuff like that. Or maybe they believe in Allah or one of these other things. Maybe they believe in the Hindu pantheon. So you've got the breath of Brahma breathing in and out, creating and decreating everything over and over endlessly for eternity. They'll believe in that. And many people believe in things like angels. But they don't believe in demons. They don't believe in spells. They don't believe in magic. Incantation? No. That doesn't exist. Prayer?
The only magic I believe in, Styx, is cobra magic. And that's because that's real. Not chaos magic.
Of course it exists. Of course it works. Who wouldn't think that? Spirituality? No, not really. Most religious people aren't spiritual at all. But your God absolutely exists. I find this absolutely fascinating, the way in which people fathom the spiritual. And so, yeah, just figured that I would cover that. Yeah, that's about all.
Yeah.
Peace out.
I don't really know what to say about him. Styx is a loon. I think that's a fair statement. I don't know what Quartering and Melanie Mack were thinking doing a show with him. So I know for a fact Melanie Mack claims to be a Christian. I believe Quartering does too. So I think they could like talk to him while claiming that, but to like do shows with him, absolutely not. All right, now I'm sure we're going to be moving into what most people are not going to be too happy with, and that is the politics segment. So, starting with some good news from my home and native land, Justin Trudeau announced that he was going to be resigning. Actually, let me make this a little better. We'll put Trump up here too. So, like I said, I was not a part of the Trudeau problem. I have never voted for Trudeau. In fact, every single time he ran, I voted against him. The man is a genuine snake, violated the Charter of Rights and Freedoms 3 years ago. He had mounted police trample grandmothers in wheelchairs and froze the bank accounts of people who rightfully disagreed with his lockdown policies. So it actually cringes me to no end to listen to him, but we're going to listen to the only thing he's ever said that made me celebrate. All right,
over the holidays.
Here we are.
I've also had a chance to reflect and have had long.
So something I should have included in this. So as he's walking down the steps, his speech, the papers on the what's it called? Not pendulum, podium. They get blown away. And right as he gets to the podium, there is one piece of paper left. And right as he goes to grab it, it blows away too.
Long talks with my family about our future. Throughout the course of my career, any success I have personally achieved has been because of their support and with their encouragement. So last night over dinner, I told my kids about the decision that I'm sharing with you today. I intend to resign as party leader, as prime minister.
Good.
After the party selects its next leader through a robust nationwide campaign.
So he closed down Parliament for, I want to say like 3 months, while his party picks out a new leader to replace him. Now, what I think, well, not what I think would be better, what I've heard many other people say would be better, is just to do a whole new election. Whoever he picks as his replacement is not who was voted in.
Competitive process. Last night, I asked the president of the Liberal Party to begin that process. This country deserves a real choice in the next election, and it has become clear to me that if I'm having to fight internal battles, I cannot be the best option in that election.
So what a lot of people, especially outside of Canada, won't know, his party does not want him. There's been a lot of infighting with them. Essentially, they know Trudeau is absolutely down the dumps number-wise. I want you to imagine Kamala, what happened with her, except the Liberal Party and the Conservative Party of Canada are kind of like the Democrats and Republicans. We do have other parties, but they're major, I want to say, but they're not like the main two. It is estimated that the Liberal Party will not even have party status very much longer. I don't know the vote system, but you have to have so many representatives, and it doesn't look like they're going to have enough people to meet the full party standard. So I've heard people say that it's going to come down to the Conservative Party and the Bloc Québécois Party. That is essentially the party that wants to separate from Canada, the French part. It's a new world. It's a new world. So yeah, like I said, that's the only time I'm ever interested remotely in anything he's ever had to say. Like I said, he cringes me to listen to him, and we're not there yet, but March 9th cannot come fast enough. Now, speaking of leaders, we have the new leader of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Now, you would have had to have been actually insane to think he was going to lose in the last election. Especially after the attempt on his life. That picture, fight, fight, fight alone, that would have won. On January 20th, Trump was inaugurated once again, and the first thing he started doing was actually keeping his promises. So he started freeing the January 6 hostages. He got the Israel hostages from October 7th freed. implemented the Department of Government Efficiency, otherwise known as DOG. You've probably actually heard a lot about them on the news right now, but unfortunately, that would be getting a little ahead of ourselves, just because I plan on covering them big time in the next A.D.A. Well, another thing that he did was we got a little crossover between Trump and Trudeau. After Trump was inaugurated, but long before the election, he met with I want to say Justin Trudeau, Jordan Peterson, Kevin O'Leary, plenty of other people at Mar-a-Lago. And he said to Justin Trudeau that he had 52 days to secure the Canadian-United States border, or he would implement a tariff on all goods entering the United States. Now, our boy Justin apparently said, but that would destroy my country. And then he had, again, 52 days to implement this, and he did nothing instead. So he knew that the tariffs were coming, and instead took zero action whatsoever. So after Trump's inauguration, he started implementing this tariff on both the US and Canada. I can't speak for Mexico, but Justin Trudeau planned to counter with a tariff of his own. That was going to be matching the US 25%, but then Trump said, if you retaliate in any way, I'm turning it to 50%. So within 1 day of these tariffs going into effect, both Canada and Mexico agreed to take the border more seriously. Now again, I am not a Mexican citizen, so I cannot say what they're doing, but it looks like Justin Trudeau, after saying yes, he would actually look at the border, is turning around and saying no. Not very good for the people living in Canada right now, gotta say that. But as of now, the tariffs are paused. Now, I believe that this is something that we're going to start seeing more often throughout the next 4 years with the US, using its economic power to get what it wants internationally. And I mean, they just did it with Colombia too. So they were going to send back some illegal aliens from Colombia, I believe, criminal ones like gang members. And so Colombia said, we're not taking them back. Trump said, if you don't take them back, I'm implementing a tariff. Instantly, they're taking them back. Now, something else that happened, Donald Trump ended up going to the World Economic Forum, and he said that he was going to be removing regulations. And for that every new regulation, he was going to remove 10. Now, I know that a lot of people think that might be a bad thing, but rules and regulations, law-wise, have gotten way out of control over the past few decades. So I looked this up. The US tax code alone, for instance, if you were going to read it, it would take you 206 hours if you could read at 250 words per minute. The reason why it's so long is because absolutely nobody can sit down and read through that whole thing unless they're going to be a tax guy. Now, it was the great John McAfee who not only refused to pay his taxes, but when talking about the regulations, said something I think everyone should remember. We have all these laws, when for thousands of years we did fine with just 10. Alright, now as you can probably tell, that was a very forced transition into our next segment, the John McAfee segment. Now, I have made 2 videos on John McAfee, only one is currently available to the public, and neither of them have done very well. Every time I read or watch anything about him, I get unbelievably fascinated with him, and I can't look away. So, Mr. McAfee is often attributed with creating the world's first computer antivirus. You've probably seen it, McAfee antivirus. But the truth of the matter is that he actually created the world's first commercial antivirus. So there are many debates on what was the first one. So I believe in the early 1980s, very late 1970s, there was a computer program called Creeper, and it had the computer antivirus called Reaper. And before that, I believe there was another one. I couldn't name it to you. But there were 2 Pakistani brothers in Pakistan who created a computer program for a medical device. I forget what it's called. So their program started getting taken out, being pirated. So they created a virus for the pirated version. And in it, they included their phone number and the address of the store they worked for, saying that, hey, listen, if you get this virus, you need to call us. Well, something that they never thought would happen, this became a worldwide thing, pre-internet. So people would trade different programs with each other, and they started getting calls all over the world. This virus was called Brain. Now, Mr. McAfee, he had an ex-wife and an old brother-in-law. The brother-in-law was a freeloader. Now, while reading the paper one day, the brother was talking about Brain, reading it in the newspaper, and John McAfee had an idea. He said that he knew how they made it, and he knew how he could unmake it. So through doing that, he created McAfee antivirus. It was essentially his claim to fame. He released it for free, but he also charged businesses and governments a licensing fee. Now, I believe that a lot of programs will actually still do this today. Now, to sort of speed things up, he also bought 28 computers, filled them with viruses, and donated them to the government. That way, they would have to pay the fee. So, besides creating McAfee antivirus, he was also a yoga instructor. He worked for Xerox, where he allegedly drank a bottle of scotch a day. He would do that at his desk. What's it called? He was a flight instructor for the unbelievably dangerous sport called aerotrekking, which was essentially a trike with a paraglider. He made meth next to a Mayan temple, ran for president of the United States, ran his own private army, and allegedly killed his neighbor after his neighbor killed his dogs with poison. After that allegedly happened, John fled the country into Guatemala. While on the run, while he was on the run, he actually called into Joe Rogan, talked to him there. Once he was in Guatemala, he was going to be deported back to Belize to face court. And so he faked a heart attack, didn't get deported, and managed to get back in the United States. Now, some people might disagree with me, but I think that John McAfee was a national treasure, and there's so much you could learn by studying him. So let's see. We've got this little guy. So somebody sent John McAfee a picture of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Joseph Joestar character. Now, John McAfee saw this character and thought that it was fan art of him. And so for the longest time, this was his Twitter profile picture. Him in a JoJo character. So John McAfee, he died in a Spanish prison a couple of years ago. And you would think normally that would be it. So, but it wasn't. Because for like a year, they kept his body in a freezer. And his wife Janice tried very hard to get him out. So on January 23rd, 2025, this year, a new tweet was made from his account. I'm back with antivirus? Is that what? An AI version of myself. You didn't think I would miss this cycle, did you? Do not fall for scam tokens. This is the only official antivirus CA. And I assume that's a wallet. So Mr. McAfee was alleged to have a dead man switch in the event of his death, which would release something. There are many speculations on what that could have been. He could have been bluffing about it. It could have been shut down with some elite superpower. Who knows? But at the end of the day, again, we're never going to know what it was. So at first, many people believed that the account was actually hacked, but we would quickly find out that it wasn't. John's account has not been hacked. This is the real deal. More information forthcoming. Well, it turns out the whole thing was for a meme coin, or as some people would call, a scam coin. Now, for John McAfee's case, I want to say it's a little different. So I think that this is a different case as opposed to the Boogie 2998 coin or Hawk Tua, just because John was actually a huge supporter of crypto in every use when he was alive. So with it using his name, I don't think that John would actually have an issue with it. He would probably actually think it's funny. So John McAfee's wife, Janice, actually commented on it. For those of you who think I am tarnishing John's legacy, you clearly have no idea who John McAfee was. Whacked was the first meme coin John created. The same person who helped John create Whacked is the same one who worked on Altivirus. Altivirus will be more than just another meme coin. It has utility. And that's what I feel sets it apart from all the other meme coins. I believe if John was still alive, he would absolutely love the idea of having an AI version of himself. He would probably pick a fight with it, and we would witness an epic war of words between John and his AI counterpart. Sunday, we will be posting an AMA answering all your questions. We will be collecting today and tomorrow. You can submit your questions here. So there's supposedly an AI version of John McAfee, but that's something I'm gonna have to see to believe before I make any comments. I like AI. I'm a very big supporter of it. For literally every one of my shorts that you see, usually I'll have AI like shorten down the script to make it like fit 60 seconds, stuff like that. But I would love to talk to an AI John McAfee. Again, I really like John McAfee, but I'm also not going to pretend he wasn't an actual lunatic. Now, we get to the next segment, video games. Ooh, let me switch. So, the Nintendo Switch 2 was actually announced. So that's something that many people were expecting and very excited for. And something that I noticed was it has very, very many features that are also on the Legion Go. So this segment is actually a lot different than I planned it to. So throughout 2023, I was using my 2017 gaming PC for all my video work. I did the job for the most part. If anyone had like a membership to my channel and they watched my old director's commentaries, you would know the issues that I had with that thing. So rendering videos would usually take however long the video was, times 3 to 4 of that to finish. Now, if I was just making videos that were 10 to 15 minutes long, it would be a little annoying but doable. But you watch my channel, so you can probably figure that my videos are usually over an hour long. So that issue really showed its face when I made my Chibi Necademics video. Mainly because I had to render that video like 4 or 5 times. Mainly because sometimes I would get like hit with a not copyright strike, but like copyright claim because of music in it. Just a bunch of stuff like that. It really got me mad, and it's like, at the time, not much I could do. So that got me to purchase my mini PC. It's something called a Beelink SER5. Mini PCs are something that outside of the Mac Mini, I almost never see anybody talking about whatsoever. So at the time, I had a budget. I couldn't afford to drop $3,000 on a new gaming PC that would like last me years. And one of the things about me is like, I'm very cheap, but like I will try to buy something that'll last me like as long as I can get away with. So like I said, I didn't have $3,000 lying around for a full-on desktop that would last me like 5 years. So I got a mini PC as a temporary upgrade in between. Mini PCs they're pretty much like made of laptop parts, but because it doesn't have a screen, a keyboard, a battery, or a touchpad, they're considerably cheaper. So my 2017 PC, it was so old it had like a 1060 graphics card, so I wasn't getting like graphics card boosts for rendering regardless. So I mainly bought that thing for the better CPU, just better overall specs. Then eventually I learned about the Lenovo Legion Go. I think I learned about it in spring 2024. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's like a Steam Deck. It's bigger, runs on Windows instead of Linux. It has detachable controllers like a Nintendo Switch. And overall, it's a pretty cool machine. So I bought one and I thought, hey, this thing is really cool. It's stronger than my mini PC. It's going to be my new desktop. And I was wrong. So this is actually a super selfish purchase that I made, justifying it for the channel. And only a few months later, I realized I made a big mistake. For what it's worth, as a portable gaming system, I don't think it can be beat by any of the competition at the moment. As a PC, for most people, it's great. You can play most games, but if you're using it for content creation the way that I do, it just doesn't really cut it. Oh, wait, I never put a picture up. Okay, switch that. So, a lot of people know I've recently moved. I'm not going to say where I am, but I couldn't take a lot of things with me. I'm multiple time zones away from where I used to live. So, I packed all my important things. Packed my mini PC, my new laptop, an Asus VivoBook Pro 15. A great laptop for the most part, but we'll get into that. And so a couple days ago, I was using it, and it just stopped stopped charging out of nowhere. At first I thought, oh, I gotta unplug it, replug it back in. Well, it turns out it wasn't taking any sort of power, total power failure. I had to bring it to a repair shop. And so I brought the mini PC with me too. So originally I thought the mini PC was weaker than the Legion Go. But it turns out because the way the Legion Go works, it doesn't use as much power. And it also has no, even like stock. Both of them have 16 gigabytes of RAM. But the Legion Go does not have access to 16 gigabytes of RAM. So I was gonna use the mini PC for this one, but unfortunately I messed up. I did not bring the cable for it with me, and I cannot find one where I am. So like I said, I'm recording this on the Legion Go. It's working out fine. I had a few issues, but nothing super crazy. All right, so like I was saying about the Switch 2, let me bring that back up. So some of the biggest similarities that I've noticed are that they have a similar size. The Legion Go is fairly big. The Switch 2 has been like made way bigger. The Legion Go has a USB-C port on the top and the bottom, which is really good for controllers. What a lot of people don't know. So the Switch, if you use a wired controller, that actually has input lag. So the reason why is because the signal is converted from USB-C to USB, and then it's converted back from USB to USB-C. I don't know how noticeable that is, but the extra USB-C connection will be really good to get rid of that. It has a lot more benefits than that, but I'm sure people will find ways to take advantage of it. So something else that was teased is the new Joy-Cons will have a mouse-like capability, something the Legion Go also has. Now, the Legion Go is a little different than the Switch 2. So, the Switch 2, you'll be able to hold the controllers horizontally and use them like a mouse. Whereas the Legion Go, you hold it vertically, kind of like a joystick. So, say what you want about Nintendo, but they make pretty good products overall, and I think the mouse functionality will work out pretty well. Besides that, they also made an obvious pain point that I'm hoping I'm wrong about. There's a connector in the center where the Joy-Cons connect. With the Switch originally, they slide up and down. Here, it looks like they plug in and out. I don't know the specs, but Rockstar said they're not against the Switch 2 port of GTA 6. And there's been a leak the Halo Master Chief Collection will be coming to it too, so I have some high hopes for it that it's going to be more than just a Nintendo machine. That being said, I already have the Legion Go, so I probably won't get a Switch 2 for a while. Now, once the Switch is in full swing, I'm sure it's going to have a lot of great games, and I'm excited to see them. Alright, now we're going to move on to our final segment, somebody that everyone loves to hear about on this channel, that being Cyrax. So before we get to that, I'm going to give a little preface. On Christmas Day 2024, I released the third part of the Love and Racing special. Before that, I want to say I spent a couple of weeks working on the Influencer Boxing is a Circus video. I recently changed the thumbnail and the name, so I'm not really sure what it is right now. So I was working on this video very hard, day and night, so that way I would be able to release it for Christmas morning. I figured that way people would be able to watch it whenever they had the time, and it was very well received, except only 4 hours after it was public, YouTube took it down and I got a strike. That really killed my recently rejuvenated Cyrax interest. I wouldn't have minded it getting demonetized. That's been pretty par for the course with those videos. But just to get it taken down and causing me to spend the next few hours like talking with YouTube support on Christmas Day, like really turned me back into a very, very casual Cyrax viewer. So I say this because even though I wasn't keeping up with the Goblin as much as I used to, it was impossible to miss Cyrax having a diarrhea accident on stream and then telling his grandmother Sally about it while he was in auto-tune. Oh, sorry, let me turn this on. Oh, did I not cut this down? Oh, we are cutting this down. No. Oh, yeah, look at that fear in his eyes. You can tell Cyrax knows he fucked up.
Hold on, y'all.
Oh, okay. So this is the funniest thing. So it's all according to N-Word Boy, but when it comes to this stuff, like his word is as good as video in my eyes. So he claims Cyrax hit mute, but when he put his headphones down, he accidentally hit unmute. And so that's why we're about to hear what we're going to hear. Yeah. That's what happened.
What's going on?
Listen to this. Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, Cyrax. Oh, and now he's about to tell his grandmother that he had an accident in his room, and I suppose he's going to make her clean it up. I'd like to say this is from N-Word Boy's channel. He's the one that upped the volume. All over the place. Oh, what a loser. Oh, Cyrax. What? Oh. I mean, I guess I don't really get to say much of my opinions on Cyrax outside of my director's commentaries, which most people don't get to see. So I'll say it here. I can't stand him. Like, it is so hard to like be neutral because I don't like to give my opinions in videos. I like to just say the facts, let people come up with their own decisions. But with him, like, knowing how vile he is, that one gets a little difficult sometimes. So this is something that Cyrax is never going to live down. There's really not much else to say about that. Like, for the rest of his days, he's going to be known as the guy who pooped his pants on stream. Now, lastly, we are going to talk about the death of Music Biz Marty. Now, I've had a lot of people that want to see me talk about this, and this is what I have to say. I am the wrong person to cover Music Biz Marty. So, me and Marty have only ever had 2 conversations between the two of us. The only times we've ever spoken was shortly after 3-3, Marty came to a premiere of one of my Cyrax recap videos. It was actually like right after we saw the fight, so that's why I remember it. Essentially, that was before I took donations. So Marty asked me, hey, you got a PayPal? I'd like to send you $5. I said, sorry, Marty, I don't take donations. At the time, I thought it was like wrong to take money from people. But I then started getting comments from people saying stuff like, hey man, like people asking me like different ways to donate to me. And I figured, hey, you know what? I'll just make it on YouTube easier like that. So he ended up donating it to the Make-A-Wish Foundation instead, which was pretty good. And the only other time me and Marty have ever spoken, he asked me if I could promote his channel Vacation Queen, because his account had just gotten deleted on YouTube. And at the time, I believe my YouTube channel was like one of the bigger racks channels out there. So when I retired from Cyrax content, I know retired, a lot of people thought that I stopped doing it because he like told me to, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Marty never bothered me about the recaps. Both the interactions we had were like good ones. I'd say they were pleasant. As I said, I am not the guy to listen to about what Marty was like. And I would like to say that people who want to know that should actually watch the Courtney Neat stream, where she talked about meeting Marty, how they all learned about who Cyrax was. And I think that it's reasonable for me to say that. There have been plenty of nights where I wasn't able to sleep because I was in bed laughing like a maniac after seeing Cyrax call into Marty's panel, just to see him dressed up in some crazy outfit. Just a few that come to mind. The Dr. Eggman glasses, the chainmail cowl, I want to say it is, like the one around his head, the samurai outfit, the sword, screeching about something Marty had orchestrated. And I think that's something a lot of people probably have a similar experience to. Marty made us laugh, he made us think, and personally, what I think is most important, he brightened the lives of those who watched him, and helped them forget about the problems they were having in a time where things were pretty down, even if it was only for a few hours every now and then. Rest in peace, Drift King. And unfortunately for that, that's all we have for this one. So, as always, thanks for watching, and hopefully I'll see you soon.